Hello again, my fellow knife lovers. It hasn't been too long since my last video review. I'm trying to get as many of these as I can done while I'm on vacation, and I've got time for it. So today's knife review is going to be of a piece from Fox Knives, Italy. I've never owned a knife from Fox, Italy, but I hear good things about them, and I've seen a lot of interesting designs come from the company over the past couple of years. Some of them are fantasy looking, and some have been accused of being mall ninja looking, but if you look at the backgrounds of the individuals designing these knives, you'll find that many of them are designed by law enforcement, military professionals, and renowned martial artists in some cases, or sometimes combinations of those three things. The knife I'm reviewing today, designed by a gentleman named Dean Rostahar, just happens to be one of those individuals who has a military and martial arts background. So he served with the Croatian Special Forces group. Reading about it, I guess it's called ALFA. I don't know what that stands for. He has a training group called Special Warrior Operation Group, all right, or SPECWOG for short. And he's also a longtime student of Masaki Hatsumi, who's the Grandmaster of the School of Ninjutsu, or Bujinkan Ninjutsu in Japan. So the individuals that have seen this knife and said it looks mall ninja-esque, well, since Dean Rostahar technically is a ninja, this is not mall ninja. Only a mall ninja might deploy it or have one of them, perhaps. Because it does look cool. It does look cool, definitely. And, you know, aesthetics aside, it does have functionality as well. That's what attracted me to the knife, is the ergonomics and the potential of its use as a defensive carry piece. All right? So that being said, let's go ahead and bring it on in and show you guys some of the features. Let me get my focus set here for this range. Okay, so there you see the Fox logo. Now, I'm not too big on these prominent etchings on blades displaying all of the information about them, but whatever. I like this knife a lot, so in this case I'll be okay with it. You see the G10 has cutouts for the finger, 4 different places. The pocket clip has these slots, which really aren't functional, they're more for aesthetics. It's kind of pointy where you actually index the knife for pulling it out of the pocket or retrieving it from the pocket. I don't like that. That's okay. It has a standard fixture or a way of fixing it to the handle, which you could actually find other clips that will fit right here if you're not too fond of this. It's tip up or tip down. It comes in the tip down carry configuration. The G10 is really, really grippy. So much so that it'll definitely wear on your pants. If that's a concern, you might want to sand the area underneath the clip if you get one of these. You'll see it's a lockback, which is good for this knife design, and I'll go into that here shortly. The blade is pretty thick. Now I've got the stats for it right here. It says it's 0.16 thickness. That's about right. It's a little thicker than the blade stock on my Hogues, which is 0.15, so that makes sense. It's got pretty sizable thumb studs, and they're terraced, so you can get a good purchase on them. This here, I've got my index finger on, that is a alternate safety for when the knife is in a closed or open position. If it's activated when it's closed or closed position, the knife just simply won't open. And when the knife is open, it'll lock it open basically so that the lockback mechanism can't be pressed. You see some jimping right here, if you want to call it that. Indexing traction grooves on the spine and the handle of the knife. We got some jimping right here, as well, or indexing grooves, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure what this backspacer piece is made out of. No idea. These traction grooves on the back of the blade here, these are actually for power assist or second-hand power cutting assist, which I guess we could explain, but this isn't really a defensive use video. So. And then jimping right here on the ramp of the knife, and the hole right here, I'm not sure what that's for. Now this blade originally was conceived as a fixed blade knife. Okay, so that's probably where you first have seen this. Okay. Opening it up, you'll see the SPECWOG Warrior logo and the little special Warrior Operations Group logo as well. And then Mr. Rostahar's signature at the base of the blade near the handle. So the blade, you can see it has a distinct forward sweep to it. It's got a nice swedge. Alright. It's very, very wide right here. It's got what he calls a tooth coming into this nasty recurve section here. Reminds me kind of like the tracker knife that was used in that movie, The Hunted, in a way. But the philosophy behind it is obviously that you have a great puncturing tip right here. It's great for puncturing. You get a lot of belly right here, and you have this tooth, basically, that anything this catches on is going to get ripped. And anything that gets caught in this section right here, in close range, that's going to be trapped in that area, and it'll be torn up pretty badly. So the steel on this guy is N690, which is a good steel. Fox Knives uses it for almost everything. There are notable custom makers that also use it for either their mid-Texas or sometimes custom work. Bring it out. Let me zoom this out here. So the knife as a whole, you can see, has a distinct forward sweep to it. This is something that I like in a defensive knife. Okay, so with my knife locked in a natural grip, where I'm not canting the wrist or anything, you can see that the tip of the blade is facing forward, which facilitates thrusting quite well. It keeps the strong structure of your arm maintained throughout the movement. Alright. These finger cutouts here work extremely well, at least for my hand. Okay. The hand falls into those cutouts pretty well. On the fixed blade version right here is a skull crusher that's exposed metal. Obviously this could be used for striking as well. Maybe not to the same effect, but it's still pretty cool. Let's see, what else? Reverse grip, which you'll see that if you watch any of the SPECWOG videos by Mr. Rostahar, you'll see that he's a fan of forward or reverse grip. Those applications are both covered. Let's see. Okay, there it is. Natural wrist alignment. Point is perfectly aligned for stabbing. Obviously, the knife is usable on both grips. It is fairly heavy. Let's say this is, well, let me see if the specs cover this. It says this is 8.64 ounces. I was going to guess 8 to 9, so that's good. Well, let me show you this. Alright, so you can press down, release the blade, unlock it until you do this. And like most safeties, you know, it's obviously meant to block the lock from being actuated. So, can't press down. Pretty simple concept. I didn't look inside to see how that's accomplished, but it works. Like most lockbacks, of course, the resistance or bias to close is pretty strong. You know, it'll just snap back in there. No worries about it coming open in your pocket or, you know, being defined as a gravity knife by a law enforcement officer or anything like that. Snapping it open, okay, you really gotta give it a little wrist because it is quite resistant. You have to overcome that back spring, or the spring that this lock is attached to. What else? What else can we say about it? Carry. This is going to be my rant for this knife. The G10 is really grippy. It comes in the tip down configuration out of the box. I mentioned the pocket clip is pointy. If you bend it outwards from the scale a little bit, that would be pretty helpful, so that you don't basically end up hurting your finger when you're trying to draw it out of your pocket, because that's exactly what will happen right out of the box. It's very grippy and it hurts. So I loosened it up a little bit so that I can get it out, relatively quick. Also, if you're not careful, you will actuate this secondary safety lock when you're drawing it out of the pocket. I don't know about you guys, but when I reach down in the pocket, my thumb goes behind the scale, and then my middle finger goes behind the clip. That's how it comes out. Problem here, there's the secondary safety lock. So when your thumb is behind this, you can accidentally pull that into the position where when you go to open it, you can't. You cannot open it. So that's something to keep in mind. Other than that, I think it's a great knife. Let's see, what else did I not cover here? Let's see. The indexing grooves, or traction grooves on the back. These are for power assist, where the secondary hand comes into play, alright, whether it be in a forward or reverse grip. Basically, you're adding your hand to the back of the knife, or the spine of the knife. I don't really think it's necessary. But once again, it's one of those things that it looks cool, and hey, why not? Maybe that's the way he thought of it. I don't know. There is a fixed blade version of this, which is slightly bigger in dimension. In California, folders are the way to go because you can conceal them, and you don't have to scare people with what you're carrying. So that's why I've opted for this. I think it's a great knife. I enjoy it. It was actually designed by a real ninja, not a mall ninja. And if you're serious about edged weapons, then it's something I would consider looking at. I would definitely designate it as a dedicated weapon only. I don't think you'd want to use a knife like this for utility purposes. I mean, who would want to sharpen that? Do I hear anybody that would like to put a razor sharp edge on this, with a wicked edge or something like that? Anybody want to volunteer to sharpen this for me? Yeah, I didn't think so. It did come pretty sharp. I mean, it'll shave hair, and it's not going to end up being used for anything. It's just going to be a dedicated backup carry piece or a primary carry piece. So if it ever came to it, it'll function, and it's not going to get dull through that function. And heck, the knife may be in the hands of somebody else, like in an evidence lockup or something at that point, because let's face it, litigious society, almost all of your defensive scenarios these days result in weapon confiscation, whether you're right or whether you're wrong. So that's it. That's what I have to say about the Fox SPECWOG ALFA folder. I hope you guys have a better understanding of this knife after watching this. The fixed blade would pretty much be the same thing as far as the weapon's design, except it's a fixed blade, slightly larger, and Kydex sheath. So that's it. I hope that this is informational and gives you an idea of the knife and maybe it'll prompt you to look at the man behind it as well. He's got several videos displaying his applications of it. The philosophy or the techniques utilized in those videos, they look pretty valid to me. I don't know anything about ninjutsu's application of the blade, so can't really say. Looks pretty good. Hope you all enjoyed the video. As usual, thank you for watching. Have a nice day.